last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Arthur.
Boy, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinning.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Arthur.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Looking for Jayden.
everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative, and it's so good to have you guys here tonight. I'm so sorry, I was writing something up for Jayden as I was coming up here, so I didn't get everybody, and I know that I was supposed to start early, so if you haven't had a chance to check out, or if you didn't get the link that I posted, I'm going to share the live that I did with Astrology from a Six with Jen, and also MMO Tarot. So definitely go check it out. It wasn't the collaboration that we were all three hoping for. I think I can speak for us when I say that. But I think that also it needed to be said. So we'll touch on it a little bit at the end of the show here because I really have some things to show you guys that I found today. I watched Nancy Grace's episode on Jayden Spicer, and let me tell you, if you didn't watch the video I posted, you might need a barf bag for this one. Good to see you, Kathy Bartholomew. I also heard Justin on a live for a tiny bit, and I heard that there was some horrific details that he was going to share. And so, you know, setting expectations, I knew that it was probably going to get worse. Hey, Kelly, good to see you, Little Miss Sharon. And thank you, Little Miss Sharon. I didn't know what to call the little baby horse in Jen's live. Town Chat Cafe, good to see you again. And I'm sorry, guys, I didn't see the chat. I didn't go grab my other phone. I was really ticked off about this whole situation. And I'm so glad that I was able to be in good company and discuss it. So also just wanted to say, you might have an allergic reaction. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Maybe call. I bet you poison control would be some place to call for that. Oh my goodness, Town Chat. I didn't know that. Hey Lori, sometimes I don't wear gloves, or it depends on what it is. Like bleach I do, but oh, you're having trouble sleeping, Miss Ann? Well, I'll be up for a little bit. I'll be on here for a little bit. I wanted to do a day show too tomorrow. Hey, Holly S. But like I said, I really wanted to get on panel with Jen because she asked and because she's awesome. Hey, Jen. Good to see you. Oh, my goodness. I didn't know you were going to be awake. Hey, McAfee. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thanks. Thank you so much, Jen. Oh, vinegar and dish detergent. Mix them together with water and for cleaning. Yeah, vinegar, white vinegar it works like an astringent, and it's actually pretty safe for wood and stuff like that. And it is like less abrasive than any cleaning supplies. Yeah, that's a great. Thank you, Anne, for that recommendation. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. Okay, great. I think I got everybody that's in here. And if I didn't get you guys, I'm sorry. And thank you so much for being patient and waiting for the live because, like I said, I really wanted to get into a lot of this stuff. Now, a lot of this stuff has been blowing up everywhere. So I watched Law and Crime today. Holly S., I think you recommended that one. I've been just watching everything, right? So of everything that I watched tonight, it kind of was a culmination of my title, which is the lengths that Felicia Gross went to cover up what she did to Jayden Spicer. Felicia Gross did give birth to Jayden. She did, but she was never really his mother, in my opinion. By all accounts, Jayden was born addicted to drugs, and custody was given over ultimately to his great-grandmother, who raised him. And she passed away back in May of 2025. And that left Jayden overcome with grief and sorrow. He missed her tremendously. I can't imagine what the little guy was going through. I really can't. I really can't. And as if that wasn't enough going on in Jayden's life, he was sent away from his home and his two sisters and made to live with his mother, his bio mother, Felicia Gross, and his stepfoot, Josh Gross, with 3 half brothers, right? So they had 3 children together who were all boys, but he was made to go live over there. And he was the only one out of the 3 that were living with the great grandmother that was made to go live with Felicia. And she's quite the character, you know. She's okay to get up on TikTok or whatever platform she was shaking her belly around on, hanging over her pants, right? Like, I mean, pull them up a little bit, you know, at least, you know. And I don't like to just make fun of somebody's looks. I think that is a low blow. But I mean, my God. And she's up there and she's like dancing around and came in like a wrecking ball is the song, folks. And I'm not making this up. I have a clip to prove it. And it's ridiculous. It's a little humorous. I added some humor. I thought about instead of calling her Felicia, fallacious. I don't know. A fallacious woman she is in the video. And Nancy Grace was too funny. That was a clip from Nancy Grace, and it just really made me laugh. But then also at the end of the clips and things, you know, after Nancy embarrassed her enough, I feel like she turned around and was like, okay, now this is Jayden Spicer, who was reported missing by his mother, right? He was reported missing by his mother, and she made a handwritten letter or note because she said that she was too anxious, quote, too anxious to come on camera. It sounds like when Chris and Katie did the Only Hands interview and told Caitlin Miller that they didn't want to be on camera because they were way too emotional. But then neither one of them shed a tear the entire time. The entire time. So just like them, she pulled this stunt, right? And she writes that they love Jayden, right? We love Jayden. We want him safe at home. Now, guys, just this statement here, we want him safe at home, reminds me of the porch interview with another known and convicted and serving time for murdering his entire family annihilator, Chris Watts, right? He stood on the porch. He had his body stance was, you know, his arms were folded, which is very defensive in nature when we look at the body language. And then he is saying, you know, that he just wants them safe at home. Katie has said this as well. These are words of somebody who has guilty knowledge, in my opinion. Now, I also wanted to point out how many times Felicia says please, and then I'm going to show you. Oh, I really hope I didn't get rid of. Nope, I got it. I want to show you what Katie said in the beginning. Now, this is in the beginning. I want you guys to go back to the beginning of Sebastian Rogers' case. In the very beginning, what were Chris and Katie acting like? Because all we have is the very beginning of this case. And in my opinion, the more relevant comparisons that we have with the case, it's uncanny. And something is absolutely wrong. And I'm preaching to the choir, I know. Something is absolutely wrong that Sebastian Rogers has not been found and that Katie and Chris are able to skate by like this. Just bear with me because I'm going to show you what I mean. Please, if anyone sees my son, Jayden Spicer, please report it to the Jackson Police Department. Thank you. We love him very much. Please do the right thing. Call the police. Please pray for us. She misspelled it. And my son, Jayden. Thank you. Right? So thank you. Please, please. Now, this is when Katie first is reporting this to and asking help from the public. This is a Facebook post that Katie made when Sebastian first went missing, just like this mother did in the letter. Emergency. Please, if anyone has camera, please check it between midnight and 6. My son is missing, please. Now, she doesn't say Sebastian's name, but, we know that about Katie already. That one's pretty much, been played out. If you can check anything that may help find him, he's 5'5", blonde hair, autistic male, right? So a lot of distancing language, in my opinion. This one. Sorry, guys, I got kicked out there. I almost freaked out. I'm like, dang it. Okay, so back to back to here. So here we have, the comparison. Thank you, please, please, Katie, please, please. She just it's back it's back and forth with the thank yous and the please. And we want your help, right? But they're not doing anything to help, right? They're sitting back and not doing anything. And now some people might say, yeah, but you have to remember that in the beginning the police were telling them to stick around the house in case Sebastian did come back. And I will consider that. But I also want everybody to consider that Katie's saying, please, please, just like this mother, pleading, so to speak, right? But she won't get on camera, just like this mother. They're okay to type it out, but they don't want to get out there. Like, I would be standing next to Sheriff Craddock and I would be saying, please. I would ask Sheriff Craddock, and I think, hey, I have my differences. I don't particularly care for the way that he's handled the case. There's other things that I don't particularly care for him handle it, the way he handled it, or things that he said. But I think that if a mother who really just wanted to find her son had said, Sheriff Craddock, can I please stand with you and ask the public for help? He would have set a podium up for her. I don't know. Well, I'd be willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and actually place a bet on that. I bet if somebody asked him flat out, hey, if Katie Proudfoot was to come up to you, no cameras, off the record, don't catch him, don't get the aha moment and spread it all around. We don't need to do the, that, because we know it's true. Katie Proudfoot would have come to you and said with her crying eyes, really genuine, can I please get on camera and talk, can you please set me up with the local news people? He would have set her up a podium, because that's what the police do for missing children. But they gotta want it. You have to advocate for that, like we've seen Seth advocate for that. Katie doesn't want to do it. So I mean, very, very similar. The story behind it is similar as well. 9 o'clock to bed, wake up in the morning, poof, gone. But Felicia tells that story, and she allows people to go out searching for her son, knowing exactly where he is. And people will say, well, the boyfriend didn't get charged yet, and he was questioned. Sometimes they're just going to go ahead and try one person unless they have hardcore proof. And if she's saying that he didn't have anything to do with it, no, it was all me. It was all me. It just remains to be seen. Because I know that Jayden, once he's found, is going to tell, what happened to him. Hey, Mama Bear. He's going to do it, He is. He's going to, the talk screen's going to tell a lot. Here's the charge. So we have false report, right, an incident to law enforcement. And by the way, this is courtesy of Justin at Clutch Them Pearls. So thank you, Justin. And I really appreciate the timeline that you put out too on the post. Just really good stuff to kind of keep everything into perspective for us, right? Because these cases can get really crazy, especially when people are lying to cover their butts. So the first charge would be false report of an incident to law enforcement. So she obviously didn't do the right thing herself, and put Jayden in a tote and then buried him in a shallow grave. That's a lot of work in the time span that we're talking here. So we'll see what the autopsy results are in terms of the condition of Jayden when he was found, right? A lot of things will tell us how long he's been there and what's happened to him. Because abuse of a corpse is charge number 4. So I'm guessing that he wasn't left in pristine condition. As if it wasn't bad enough what they did to him, they had to abuse his corpse. So tampering with physical evidence is number 3. And then we have manslaughter second degree. Now that one bothers me when I look at the 4th charge and as information comes out. It is really disheartening to me. So James Turner, the clerk, on August 13th, 2025. On August 6th, 2025, Miss Felicia and Josh Gross reported their juvenile child, Jayden Spicer, went missing the night of August 5th into August 6th, and his whereabouts were unknown. A recorded Mirandized interview, so they were read their Miranda rights, right? You have the right to remain silent, yada, yada, yada. It was also recorded, and that was conducted with Mr. Gross, or excuse me, it was conducted with Miss Gross on August 12th at the Jackson Police Department, where she confessed to providing Jayden's type of sleeping medication, right? So providing him with a type of sleeping medication. So obviously she still hasn't come clean about what type of medication, or maybe that's something that is kind of redacted in a way, right? I haven't figured that out, but nevertheless, it is stated here a type of sleeping medication. And we've discussed this too. It really could have been anyone's medication. And somebody said earlier, I think it was today, was like, yeah, so what is up with that? Can't you be in trouble for giving somebody else medication that doesn't belong to them? And I think that is something to be considered. I don't know all the laws in Kentucky. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking if you're giving him medication that belongs to someone else, that should be, a no-no, big no-no. And then it says that Mrs. Gross further stated that the medication caused Jayden to have a medical emergency, and she believed that he had passed away from the medical emergency. Okay. I call bullshit. Right there. Because in the event that you realized that Jayden taking the medication caused the medical emergency, you should have called 911 immediately. But that didn't happen. So instead, she says that she believes that he passed away from the medical emergency that occurred because he took the sleeping aid that she gave him. I'm going to go with she had full intent and it was premeditated, in my opinion. Now, Miss Gross further stated in the interview that she had transported Jayden's body to a wooded area on Canoe Road near the mouth of Joe Little Fork. A search warrant was prepared and executed on this property, and Jayden's remains were located buried underground in a plastic tote. So you know, and Jayden, here's Jayden. I mean, he's just as cute as he can be. She's not. That's his mother there, Felicia, going where there shall be no McDonald's cheeseburgers for her enjoyment. And hopefully she gets her butt whooped. Mama Bear says the pic of Jayden smiling real big in his red shirt looks so similar to Sebastian smiling in his red shirt with the python. Yeah, I know. I mean, he's got the blonde hair. He's got, you know, the awesome smile. I know. Yeah, I see the resemblance, Mama Bear. I do. A young, you know, younger guy, younger kid. And she went to the court today and pleaded not guilty, McAfee Gaming. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen there. You know, and I don't think she will take the stand in her own defense. I'm just going to throw that out there too. She might prove me wrong, which is fine because I'd like to hear from her. You know, if you're going to defend yourself, you got to defend yourself. You got to get up there. But then again, people are like, you know, you shouldn't go up there because, you know, whatever. But I mean, in my opinion, I definitely would. I don't think that she's going to, just based on the fact that she didn't even want to talk to anybody, you know, and she was pretty good at keeping quiet until she confessed. In my opinion, she didn't do it by herself. Yeah, she didn't. She did not, because it would be very difficult for her to do it by herself. But not only that, it would be extremely difficult in such small quarters for no one else in the house to know what was going on. And we also know that she coached her other kids and told them a story to tell. So in that regard, I think that, you know, everybody knew about it. You know, it just doesn't add up. Logically speaking, everybody would know. It's just such a small place. And then also thinking about transporting Jayden without any knowledge, mutilating his corpse without any knowledge of Josh at all. He had no idea, you know. No way, that would not work on me. And I don't know if it's something where they can get the confession and, you know, stack the charges on, probably something like that. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, I should say, but, you know, it's something to think about. I don't know. Her Miss Cersei says, what happened to her eyebrows? It's a new trend. I just, an old lady trying to figure out what happened to the other. I know, because there's a little bit just like right here. I wonder if she draws them in. That's the only thing that I can think of. But I would think that they would be ready to go to the police station, like, you know. But then again, I don't know. That's a good question. It kind of makes me want to zoom in, but I can't zoom in on this one. Yeah, I think they're all the way gone from this side over. Like really far over. Huh. That's so funny, Mrs. Cersei. You know, it's just like the things that we notice. Burton Skaggs. Okay, yeah. I heard about that, Kai. I heard about that. Burton Skaggs. See, Taylor, good to see you. I'll upgrade they're going to upgrade the charges when the autopsy results come back. In my opinion, they'll charge the basic manslaughter first, though, so that way they can hold her. Yeah, you know, I think you're right. I'm so surprised about the boyfriend, or I say boyfriend, the husband. You know, Joshua Gross. I can't believe he hasn't been at least charged with accessory or something. I mean, unless she completely did this all on her own and then lied to him, which, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's improbable in my opinion. Yeah, not manslaughter. Yeah, I haven't heard that they changed it yet. lying. I mean, and that's the thing, lying from the very beginning. I mean, lying from jump. They were lying. And yeah, I call BS as well, says Chuchi. Yeah, I can't help it. It's just like Lori says exactly. Felicia accidentally on purpose did her son to the sleep permanently. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people were saying too that she did not want to have Jayden. So I don't know why they allowed for him to go there. I will keep saying that. But I believe it was intentional. I do. I mean, and I don't want to think that way, because when I look at Jayden, I'm like, how could she do it? How could she? And it's like, if you look at a mother, maybe not necessarily in this mugshot, but like if you just look at a mom regular, in terms of, or for an example, when they were on the news talking about JD Vance and they were being interviewed, she looked like a regular mom to me. Like, I didn't see any problem with her. I didn't think she looked like this at all. I think she looked like a regular mom. So it's really weird. I don't know if she was like on and off of drugs. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. Linda says if she did it to her by herself, she had to have help getting rid of the body, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Linda. I mean, because here's the thing. It's like thinking about putting him in there and then also doing something to him, because she has that charge for, and so yeah, I think so. I think that she would have had trouble or help doing all of that. She would have been exhausted by the time, or she's on meth. Math helps you get a lot done. So does the Colombian Bam Bam. Also, I guess, there's some stimulants like the, I don't know what she takes. I shouldn't probably speculate, but like, Adderalls and stuff are also things that put you up. And if she's telling everybody that the kids have ADHD and not giving the medicines to the kids and she's taking them, I mean, that's something that people do. Hey, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, I saw your email. Looks like she pulls them out. Yeah. Yeah, or just too much plucking, but it looks like they're like maybe just shaved, because they're like not there at all, Sarah or Miss Sarah C. I'm like, what the heck? And I just noticed that. I never noticed that before. I didn't. She's just a hot mess. She is. She's a hot mess, and no shame, you guys. I'm gonna show you something funny. We could probably all use this. If you watch the local news here in Kentucky, she does not look like that in the video. Really? It's a different one. We probably didn't see it all. Yeah, let me go. I'll have to go look, McAfee, or email it to me if you could. Play the... Yeah, I know. I know Miss Ann says, what about the Susan Smith case? Where she killed the kids by drowning them. Yeah. I mean, she did the same thing. She was coming out on the news. People were really side-eyeing her, Miss Ann. I remember that too. Okay, it's not been charged yet, and it won't until the autopsy comes back. Yeah, thanks, McAfee. And that's the thing. I think that's a good thing. If I was in that position, I would want people to be fair with me. I'm glad that the court systems are fair, and I'm glad that they're handling it with integrity. That way, she can't bring a defense attorney in and he can find a loophole and, that sort of thing. So I was a little bit worried that she may, try to use like a drug defense or something like that, or either saying like, oh, I'm crazy, I'm you know, I'm this, I'm that. The Letitia Stout defense, if you will. Um, I always zoom into people's photos, especially the eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. Mama Bear, you got it. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. It's so hard to see her eyes in this one. Oh my gosh, I found somebody was telling me, hey, Retha Bell, somebody was telling me this, that they saw this picture. Hold on. Oh God, I got Miley Cyrus licking a hammer. The first thing I see, geez Louise. See what she's got me doing? Okay, not Miley Cyrus, this girl. Okay, so look at Katie right here, guys. Oh my. And I always kind of thought she looked sedated in that one. That's the Nancy Grace interview, by the way. But, like, nada. Like, there's nothing. No, zilch, nothing. It's pretty creepy. Oh, eyebrow rings. Oh, see, Taylor, that's so smart because that's where they go. That's exactly where they would go. You know, is right there, right where they are. See, that's why we love C. Taylor, because she's so smart. Hey, Meow, good to see you. Hey, Cinderella. We got Cinderella and Poppy Love. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, guys. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I see. Cinderella's here. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys came in because I'm going to be, I'm going to play this. And I was waiting one to see, you know, who all would be coming in because this is going to be funny. Now, I did post it on my channel too, or excuse me, on my videos, but I wanted to play it live for you guys because it is funny. I mean, you know, I tried to put the memes in there and give her hell a little bit because, you know, if you're going to get up there and shake your booty, but you can't get out there and, you know, at least try to say, can somebody find him? You know, I mean, maybe she did that so that way she wouldn't get blamed for wasting resources. But no, I'm glad to see. We're glad to have you here, Poppy Love, and thank you. There's just so much going on, and especially tonight. Tonight was wild, and I was late. I was late myself tonight, like really late. But I was on panel with Jen from Astrology for Mystics and then MMO Tarot. So, yeah. See, and that's what I don't. Yeah. Okay. Chuchi says, "Wait, we are all thinking she had help, aka Mr. Gross, but who had their 3 boys when they did that, or was the boys with them in the car?" Well, that's what I'm afraid of. That's such a great question, and that's what I'm afraid of is because they did have the boys get the story, you know, get their story straight, but they didn't say that they got the story straight, you know, on everything. So I don't know if they were actually there for any of what happened to Jayden or if it was just like, oh, last time we saw Jayden was yesterday, you know, last night when we went to bed and then we woke up and he wasn't there. I'm hoping that that's the case because, you know, people do those things in front of their kids. And of course, you'd be scared to death to say anything, you know, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not sure on that. So yeah, that's a great comment there. Okay, WKYT. I am subscribed to that one. Thank you, McAfee. WKYT. Yeah, and I watched the one with the ants, and they were at the vigil, and you know it did break my heart for them. So that I was like, I can't really go too hard after the ants. I'm gonna cool it a little bit, but I do want to know what happened. I do. Jen, thank you so much for having me up. I really appreciate it. Man, I felt so much better after that. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, because, well, you know, it's just a bunch of butts. But yeah, check out Katie's eyes, guys. She is creepy. I'm sorry. I got her right there in your face. for like 20 minutes. I hope this is better. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, Blessed, good to see you. So yeah, somebody mentioned that earlier, and I'm like, oh, I see it now. See, that's what happens when I go on X. I don't usually see stuff like that unless I go on X. Hey, Scranton Strangler, and I don't even post that much stuff. I have to start posting. But I got sent a link, and this other creator that does a really good job, I had to tell them something today on there. Thank you, Jen, for the super chat. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, girl. Aw, Jen says, I just love you. Jen, you're the best. That's so cute. I love you too. And next time we got to do, a real good live about, Sebastian. And I mean, not that it wasn't a good live, but I mean, I want to get together with you guys. I want to compare notes and, because you do so good with the lines. And then, I like Emma Motero. I've listened to her, and, I just want to kind of, I don't know, maybe we should just start at the beginning and do a weekly show, do a weekly bit where we just like, okay, start from the beginning. Now what? But, my problem with starting from the beginning in Sebastian's case is that there are some, in my opinion, there is history that's important to remember, like what Sebastian went through in California, like the fact that, Seth was his, raised him, was his caregiver. And I'm not knocking Katie. I'm just saying what it is. I want us to get down to the meat and potatoes, the brass tacks, brass tacks. I want to get down to the nitty gritty, right? And say, okay, here's what happened in the past. This is the history. This is the profile of the history, right? And it's not to be mean to anybody, but it's just to tell the truth. And so that way we have a good perspective. But then I want to be like, okay, then Hendersonville, they moved to Tennessee, because we know that, Sebastian and Katie moving with Chris Proudfoot to Tennessee is a lot like, and probably was a lot like, because Chris didn't get like some, epiphany or any counseling or any therapies to change, the way he's acting. And so move them, to Tennessee, just like Nina. Right. And I believe Nina. And so they were isolated, right, only with his family around. So, and then Seth moves there too, obviously, because he wants to be next to his child. And that's what a good parent does, in my opinion. Even though you don't agree with the other parent, even though you'd rather have, all the time with your kid and probably maybe would rather them not be around this other person, it is what it is, and you have to make sure that your child's taken care of. And in my opinion, that's what Seth did. Someone that didn't do that, though, in my opinion, is Chris Proudfoot, because he is not in New Mexico with his daughter. Just saying. And Linda Hall says, depending on the time of day, the boys may have been sleeping. I was hoping for that too, Linda. I will say, because just say that they did give Jayden some, because he's going to have medication in his system. So I'm guessing that Felicia is telling some semblance of the truth within her statement. And it still remains to be seen, but that might be the little nugget of truth that she's telling in order to be convincing. So, it could be somewhere where they gave him the medicine around 7. He started having a bad reaction. In my opinion, they overdosed him on purpose. But he started having the reaction, and then he was deceased from there. She failed to call for help when she recognized this quote unquote medical emergency. And then she proceeded to perform the number 4 charge that she has. And sometimes YouTube will beware about some of the language, and I've used a lot tonight. Um, but I really just like to be straight up about it, because um, when you look at those charges, it's terrible. It's terrible, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm hoping the boys, in that case, the boys might have been sleeping or in their rooms playing, and they didn't notice what was going on. She could have taken Jayden somewhere as well, because like they don't have neighbors around their house. They're pretty far down. Like the next neighbor is down the holler, and then the other one's up the holler. So all the other neighbors. So I mean that's my best guess. She could have taken him out into the woods or something too. I mean, because it's so heavily wooded, and I don't know what their backyard looks like. So I don't know if there's areas back in there that she could have taken him. I mean, I'm not even going to say that. I mean, they could have really hurt him bad and then given him a sedative, and then he succumbed to his injuries rather than the sedative or the sleeping pills that she said that she gave him. And that would mean that he suffered tremendously. Because, I mean, when they found Jayden, they could see him physically. And so them being able to see his physical wounds, they may have known that he was beaten up or something like that. And if that did occur, pre-mortem, before he passed away, then that could indicate that, that could have been the cause of death. And they're gonna have to do that. They're gonna have to look and see what the autopsy comes up with on the cause of death. Another important detail is time of death. For a 10-year-old, and it wasn't a monster that lived down the road. It wasn't a guy in a van. It was his own bio mother. Scranton says KP looks dead in her eyes. No life, no soul in that photo. Yeah, I know. It's creepy, isn't it? It's like, wow, Katie, like, I mean, and I think it could have been like she was, sedated or something like that too, because I was always wondering about those two. Like even Chris looked like he had taken something to calm his nerves, right? And I'm not saying that, obviously if my child was missing, I'd probably take something to calm my nerves too. But it's different, right? Her eyes are very. I also noticed her doing that when she was staring off in the interview with Holly Thompson. There's some times where she gave like a look, and if, like that song, Got the Looks That Kill. Yeah, it's that one. Well, and that's a good point too. Yeah, Chuchi, they could have been left alone, right? Like they could have left the kids at home. I don't know how old the oldest one is there, but I would imagine, 9 and younger, I guess I should say, maybe 8. So yeah, they could have just left, and if they were only going back into the woods for a little bit, who knows? And if she was doling out sleeping medications, who knows if the other children didn't get a dose of sleeping medication? I mean, not with the intention that they had for Jayden, in my opinion, but in order to make them go to sleep so they weren't awake. Mama Bear says 2 of her charges have something to do with tampering with a witness, coaching the 2 boys. Did she do that in front of Josh? That's a good point. Great point, Mama Bear. I'm guessing she did, because look, they're trying to say that Josh is so controlling. Well, if he's that controlling, he's not going to let her do much of anything. If she's not allowed to have a phone, if she's not allowed to do this, if she's not allowed to do that, I mean, he's going to be right there with her. I can't believe it, and money, money, money. Because I heard he had money, and if this girl is willing to take the rap, I hope the police get it right with those other kids being in the house. And they had her in a bulletproof vest. Yeah, I did see that. I think it might have been. I think she might be on soy sauce watch. Yeah, I think she might be on soy sauce watch. And that's why they had that on her. Dark and hateful, right? Lori says exactly, Scranton. Yeah, Cinderella. I'm like, oh boy. She looks angry. Like she did have a hateful look on, yeah, absolutely. Linda says, Choo Choo, that's my thought too. It's nice to have you, Bless. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Bless. Oh, thank you, Bless. Aw. Thank you so much. If you guys got a membership from Bless, please say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Thank you so much, Bless. That's amazing. Five Lady Freedom memberships. Wow. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Scranton says, Lady Freedom, thank you for coming on tonight. The doctor that is here got on my last nerve and I need a good distraction. I'm sorry, Scranton. Oh no. I know. I'm telling you, I was griping earlier too. I don't think Jen's ever heard me raise my voice before, and I was mad as a hornet earlier. Poor Jen. Oh my gosh. Mama Bear says, come one, come all to the greatest real talk show of them all. Aw, thank you, Mama Bear. By none other than the best Lady Freedom. Aw, you're so sweet, Mama Bear. That's awesome. Thank you. Aw, you guys. I wasn't expecting that. I just started seeing all these sweet messages popping in, and then plus gift 5 memberships. I'm like, oh. Yes, I do too, right? Thank you, Mama Bear. That's why I enjoy you guys so much. That's why I always look in the chat and I'm reading you what you guys write because, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking back and forth with about true crime, because I feel a lot better afterwards too. I hope you guys do, because it's so frustrating when we're watching all of this stuff play out, you know. So thank you. You guys are super intelligent too. I mean, there's things that I'll be like, wow, I didn't think of that at all, and if I didn't come up and talk with you guys, I never would have heard it probably. Oh, Lori, I know. And see, that's the thing that I was going to watch. Oh boy. Lori says, I heard that she broke his little legs. Oh, I'm sorry. I knocked my earbuds over. Oh my goodness, Lori, and that's the thing. I don't understand how they could just only say manslaughter or that it was accidental. I mean, maybe in order for them to get him into the tow is the only thing that I could think of that would be, doesn't make it any better. I mean, but out of necessity rather than out of hurting him prior to, like, him having to endure like a whole beating before he passed. And gosh, these people are really, really sick. Okay, so this is the Burton Stagg stuff. Okay, thank you so much, guys, because I put that out this afternoon. He does a person. Okay, how does a person do this? Okay, so I've heard of that person before. I think it was on Justin. Let me write down Burton Staggs, because I know I'll want to call him Skaggs because there's a Skaggs hospital in Missouri. And I know I'll go back to that if I don't write it down. Mothers become the boogeyman in too many lives. Oh my gosh, you're so right. Yeah, mothers become the boogeyman in too many little lives. The monster under the bed makes me sick. Yeah, I mean, it's unimaginable. Like I don't know if it's like we're seeing more cases of it nowadays, or if it was always like that and we just didn't have like the real-time updates and because because breaking news, we'd only get it like a few times a day, right? And now it's just always going, which is good because there's still so many people that we don't know that are missing out there, you know. And then, you know, when you see a new face, and you're like, oh no, this kid's missing, and then you go and look, and you're looking into what's, you know, the background. Like Jack and Lily, you know, they're another two children who are missing out of Canada, and you know, the hell of it is two kids usually don't just get snatched up. Like usually it's the kid that's by themselves, and so nobody, you know. And then we have a child like Lily who is really good at like being loud, and you know, her voice carries. They had a video of her like screaming at the top of her lungs, and I mean very high pitch that, you know, if they had dogs or anybody in the vicinity probably would have heard her screaming like that, at least. And no one said that they have. And then you have, you know, the weird stepdad. Again, the mom doesn't want to talk. They were both laying in bed when this all went down. And they said that they didn't hear the porch door open. And it's like, but you could hear the suction, like, you know, suck out, you know, and then roll on the thing. And then you hear it close and it sucks back into place. And it's like, what the heck, you know? That's right. Mama Bear, monster egg donor. Yeah. Because I even felt bad saying, you know, that Felicia Gross was his mom. So I just said gave birth to him. Absolutely. You know, I don't know how you go through all of that and not have that bond or, you know, the relationship. It is so sad, Lori. I have no idea anyone could do something like this. I just can't believe it either. And I think they have to do more with those charges. I was supposed to pull in the what was it from earlier. You guys made me think of it, and I just lost my train of thought on that one. There were people locally that were interviewed, and they were saying how they didn't agree with the charges, and they're like, we don't know how she only got that, and you know, we'd like to see her get upped charges. So yes, Lori, I know that one will get me in trouble if I say it, but you know, taking one's own life. So if they put her in that, like, it's like a green, I've seen people in them. You know who was in that same vest is that that guy Daryl Brooks, and he was in that, and it's for Suicide Watch. Thanks, Meow. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Oh, they do have a Spider-Man casket for him, Lori. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is so sweet. Oh, good. He deserves everything good right now. Everything good that he didn't have. Turtle suit. There you go. Hell yes. I was trying to think what it was called. The turtle suit. I was like, it's not a vest, like, or it's not a bulletproof vest. It's, you know. I don't know really what the thing is maybe it's just a different, you know, type of thing to wear. Yeah, I agree. She doesn't have a heart or conscience. Yeah, she doesn't. No, McAfee, I agree. And, you know, that's so apparent by her actions. You know, I mean, I wish it wasn't that way, but it's all based on the way that she's presented everything. You know, and also just her statement, the way it was written out by police. Again, I just feel like it was premeditated. Okay, let me show you guys this. Now this is this is Nancy Grace.
Breaking news tonight. Mommy begs for help. Begging the public to help find her missing little boy, Jayden. Now, he's found in a shallow grave, and Mommy is suspect number one. First of all, who exactly is Mommy? That from our new friend Ariel Hicks's YouTube, and I would like to see Mommy at her finest again. Let's just roll that. Roll that beautiful footage.
Don't you ever say I just walk away, I will.
Okay, can we get back to the missing child? Just 10 years old. The world on its ear looking for Jayden.
Okay, guys. So, yep, that's Nancy, and you know they Andrea, can you believe it? Oh my gosh, this, I'm like, I was not expecting to see that. That was the beginning of Nancy's show, by the way. That's about as far as I could get, and I'm like, oh gosh, I better get this in so we can watch it. Good night, Chuchi. Thanks for being here. Oh my goodness, absolutely premeditated. Lori says it's heartbreaking, Holly. I mean, gosh. And then we see her. She's a real piece of work. Andrea says, and it's like, oh, okay, well, here you go. Just I'm cool to do this. I'm cool to talk on the news station. But when my son goes missing, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk at all. And it's really it's comical in a way that she really didn't do herself very good. I don't know if that was on a TikTok or if that was, because I think Nancy said she got it from her friend, like her friend's page. So I don't know if but that looked like she was singing that to maybe a boyfriend or something, because she was doing like a seductive type of a dance. But I'm like, what in the world? She reminds me of an old Megan Boswell. I know. Well, and then I couldn't believe I actually found like a female Hamburglar that somewhat resembled her. I was like, hey, look at this. Look what I can find. Because I'm like, this girl is, a piece of work. That's what Andrea said was really sums it up. Oh my gosh. And there's not a whole lot of words for it besides, she thought she was, looking good. And I don't think so. Oh, it was on TikTok, Lori. Thank you. I was like, I don't know. It looks like something, but isn't it usually like you dance like on TikTok, but not show your whole self? You just kind of like, I don't know. I've never done a TikTok. But I always see people doing it, and they might do like a little dance or something, but not like that. I've never seen anything like that before on TikTok. But I guess there's a first time for everything. But yeah, that was just very terrible. And then I put Jayden's obituary stuff. That the kind words and then that artwork was really, really, really sweet. All the people that said their condolences on the page, the guest book page, was really, really nice, and it was really nice that the funeral home did that. So shout out to them and whoever put all of that together for Jayden. He really deserves to have the nicest stuff. Helios is really bad. really, really bad. You know, I'm guessing that was most recently too. Like, I'm guessing that was something that she put on there, you know, kind of recently. Um, but maybe not. It could have been older too. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's all the really the good stuff that I have. The newest stuff that I have about Jayden Spicer, and things just keep coming out. I want to put a video together for the interviews that have come out, you know, with the family and things like that, and kind of go over those with you. Perhaps um, tomorrow I might go a little bit late. Well, I mean, it's not too bad. I could still get some Z's in and do like a 3 o'clock or something, or a 3:30. Um, but I would love to do that. And then I also need to share out Jen's live too. So, um, and basically, I almost forgot to tell you guys. So basically, with Jen's live, um, and this isn't really like a secret on this channel. I mean, you guys have seen me deal with like a lot of crazy people on this channel. In the very beginning, I allowed Rich from Rich and Ruby to come on my panel. I thought Ruby was a search and rescue dog, but I found out later that she isn't. And you know, I don't want to badmouth Ruby. She's a dog, right? And she didn't do anything to me, and I feel sorry for her having to be with him. But he's been putting out a lot of BS lately, like a lot, you know. And I've mentioned it here before, but I shared some things with Jen because I wanted, hey, Mammon, because I wanted, you know, to make sure that Seth did not get duped by this person, right? Because, in my opinion, and from what I've always seen from Seth, is that he wants to find Sebastian, and when someone's dealing with a desperate time, it calls for desperate measures, right? And so sometimes you'll try like anything and everything, right? And so I was really, really worried when I started seeing Rich popping up like on people who I respect, like their feeds and things like that, and they're sharing out his information. And then I saw it was being shared on X, and I'm like, oh no, you know, this is really, really bad because he's saying he had insider information. Which he pulled that back in December on me. So my first live was December 1st, and I kind of go over this on Jen's channel too, but just briefly. And right before that, he was like, hey, I'd love to collaborate. I have, you know, my dog Ruby, who is a search and rescue dog. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I'd love to have you on the panel. And, you know, yeah, that way, because I understood that, you know, you have people up on your panel and then, you know, people share it out. And it's good, like, especially networking with a good amount, you know, good people. And I've been wanting to do that in Sebastian's case for a very long time. But I also understand that you have to, you know, gain respect, and it's hard because it's hard to coordinate times, things like that. So that all goes with it. But I figured it would be a good thing, and it really wasn't. And it only took me, I think it was like 17. Well, I'll say it maybe a little bit more, like 20, 23 days. I'll just give that. Hey, Objection BS. And I said, well, I will just go ahead and tell him I can't have him up anymore. And there was many reasons why I didn't want him up on the panel anymore. One being that I was getting a lot of negative feedback, which I respect your guys' feedback. I don't take offense to it. If I think that I'm being trolled, then I'm gonna like delete it and not even worry about it. But if I think somebody's legitimately saying to me, hey, Lady Freedom, I really like your channel, but there's some things that, and people were being respectful and emailing it and things like that. So I was already kind of distancing myself from him. And I don't know if that maybe triggered him to do this. I don't know what his intentions are, but I think he really likes to just get off on other people's misery or other people's fear, or getting over on someone else, like, haha, I made them believe me, type of a thing. Whatever it is. Or he may have thought that I was naive enough to listen to what he was saying and spread it all over the internet, which I don't do that. I always try to research things, right? And then I'll show you guys some sort of I do it all the time. It's just like this. I wanted to go over the full document, but I saw that Justin had this clipped out, and I was like, oh, good. That's really good, because you could see all of the charges, right? And so I was thankful for that. Or, when we talk about the vigil, I like to put up the vigil. So I have all these things loaded in here back here for us to look at. Or Katie, I put Katie up earlier. But I like to do that so that way you guys, because I think that you guys, a lot of you that have been with me for a long time too, you're like, oh yeah, Lady Freedom likes to tell the truth and things like that. I get it. I know that you guys don't think I'm lying, but I also think it's good to be able to see it for yourself. That way it's just not me up here telling you guys a bunch of stuff, right? Because I could be telling you guys a bunch of stuff and none of it's true. And so I would just really urge you guys to be leery of people that don't like to show a lot of receipts for things, because it just makes it to where misinformation could be spread around. And so with him saying that he's got, private information, someone sent him an email, and this is a retired guy that was a cop, and it was in his email and a PDF, and these are the things that are not only not really believable, but when they don't present it right away, that's a really good indicator that they're lying, just flat out. But he ended up telling me that they found Sebastian in a landfill, and he was hanging this information over my head for a couple of days. And he said that he had inside information from someone at a FBI field office that he was familiar with in Texas. And I was like, okay, I didn't know whether to believe him or not. So I took it with a grain of salt. But when he actually went to the extreme of telling me that they had found Sebastian's body parts, his hands and his feet, at the landfill, along with burner phones, and that they had tried to burn, with fire, the bag that it was in. He also said that there were some shoes found and some golf balls. I mean, it's wild. It's wild, the things that he was telling me, right? And then he started blaming it on Kathy and Terry Bowersox, right? And again, this is what kind of makes me think that he wanted me to come up here and say all this stuff about people that I have no proof that they did anything. Anytime I talk about the Bowersox, I talk about them in everything that is alleged that I think to be a theory, because I don't think, in my opinion, that Katie could have pulled this all off by herself. Same thing with this one up here. I don't think she pulled it off by herself, but logistically, for what happened to Sebastian and how it played out to have happened, there had to be multiple people involved. And we know that because of the flashlight video and things like that are what leads me to that conclusion. And so, Oh, hey, Jen, I didn't even know you were still awake, girl. She says, anyone, in my opinion, who would say that has inside information with body parts, burner phones, golf balls, etc. Show me the proof. Exactly, Jen. And he's like, I can't let you know yet. I can't let you know yet. I'll let you know here. And, I'm going to get a phone call or whatever. And then he tells me, because like I said, I was distancing myself away from him, but I was nervous because I didn't know who I was dealing with, right? Because he told me he was a Navy SEAL, and that the reason why when he comes up on the panel that he can't show who he is because, he doesn't want to get in trouble, and, he doesn't want to be found out, and, he doesn't want people harassing him, like all of this weird stuff, right? And so I'm like, okay, maybe he's just afraid to get on the camera, right? Because a lot of people will come on here with just an avatar, and I told him that. I was like, you could just put your avatar up, right? um I've always wanted to come up here and talk with you guys because um I don't know. To me, I get really, really bored unless I'm cleaning or doing something else, watching just the avatar. And, boop, 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 right? So I try really hard to get up here and talk with you guys. And, like, you guys can see my facial expressions. You guys can see my hands moving all over, me clicking the pen, all of it. I don't care. I would just rather you guys have something to look at. I am more visual of a person. And so I always assume that other people are, not everybody is. A lot of people are like, hey, just do the avatar, I'm cool with it. But either way, I've always, said to myself, I'm going to get up there and talk on the podcast like this. Um, and I talked with other people too. And I said, what do you think I should do? Just an avatar? Do you think, people were like, no, don't hide yourself, get up there and do it. But I understand that not everybody wants to do that. And then also the stuff that goes on, on YouTube can be really, really hateful. And once people find out who you are, they want to find out everything, and they want to go back and do this, and they want to contact your mom, and they want to, get a hold of your, aunt that you haven't talked to in 20 years. I mean, it's weird, and it's like, am I not giving you enough? You know what I mean? Am I not showing you who I am? But, but I don't know if that's human nature or what. If you give an inch, people want a mile. Okay, so going back to Rich, he was texting me weird things. So, right, because I was ignoring him, and he got upset with that, apparently, in my opinion. And so he had sent me a weird text message saying, hey, I'm here at your back door. And so I sent him 3 question marks in a row. I'm like, what are you talking about, weirdo? And he's like, oh, I didn't mean to send that to you. I'm sorry. Oh, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, well, I'm awake now. And I'm like, well, by the way, I don't have a back door. And he's like, you don't? Ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, And so I was just annoyed. And honestly, I was working on videos for Sebastian. I was working on my lives because I do prepare before I get up here. And so because I know what I'm going to talk about, it goes with my title. I'm trying to be professional. Because I think that you guys deserve that too. I don't think you guys deserve to hear me up here fumbling around, doing all this crap. I don't think that would represent Sebastian well at all. Not one bit. I think that he deserves to be represented way better. It's just like poor little Jayden. He deserves to be represented better. So it's any of these kids. Like, we talk about really serious subjects. That's why, it's funny when Nancy Grace has a funny video of the mom, and we could be like, haha, look at her, haha, she, and she does. She deserves, for us to throw tomatoes at her, in my opinion. I just do. I think she has done one of the most shameful things that you can do, and she deserves it. So, but I'd rather make you guys laugh, at her expense than do it to somebody who doesn't deserve it, right? So it's kind of, I guess, finding the balance. But either way, he starts in, because, that already was like, annoying me and everything. And then he starts in with Sebastian. Oh, did you see that they found someone at the landfill? And I'm like, and this is in December, by the way, December 17th. And I said, okay, you saw this person, at the landfill or whatever. Or you saw a person at the landfill. Okay, I saw that this morning. I feel bad for the person. I hope they find out who it is. And he's like, it's Sebastian. Hey, Adam Forever 21. And he texted me back. I have the text, and I sent him to Jen. And I said, it's Sebastian, or he goes, it's Sebastian. And I said, well, how do you know that? And as a matter of fact, you know what? We'll just do this. Because, if I expect that out of other people, I'll do it myself. So give me a second just to take this off really quick, because I don't know if it's going to let me. I want to get rid of Miss Katie for now. We saw the dead eyes. We got it. Miley Cyrus. Oh, not all of those. My Lord. Okay, here we go. Can you just bear with me, guys, for a second? Okay. So this is the one that he sent to me. Hey, what if I told you I was right outside your back door? And then right after that, he sends, sorry, wrong person. And I send him back, question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, I'm so sorry. I said, I was like, what the, and he says, oh, bet you were like, what? Yeah, I was. You creeped me out. Totally. He said, I came to drop something off for my baby, which is, he told me he had kids and a wife. And so his older kid that was supposedly in college, whatever. I don't believe him. I don't have a back door, I said. So that's why I was like, and he's like, haha, no back door. And I said, no worries. You caught me off guard. I'm awake now. Right. So I'm just kind of trying to smooth it over with this prick because I don't want to deal with him. And I've already distanced myself from him. That's why he's sending me weird shit like this. Oh, sorry. And then this next one says body found in landfill, Tennessee. And this is later on that evening. And I said, one sec, I'm just finishing some things up. And I said, yes, I heard about that. Because he called me. And I said, hold on a second, I'm finishing something up. And then I go, yes, I did hear that, poor soul. He said, did you hear? Crazy. That's all I was going to say. You're good. Right? Because he called and I told him, I can't talk because I'm finishing this up. And I said, I did hear that this morning. It's so sad. He said, yes, it is sad, but who is it? And I said, no clue. Could be anyone. He says, 2 bodies less than 20 hours apart found, but only talking about one. And I said, okay, like to myself, I'm thinking, okay. And then he goes, Sebastian, Bower Sox dump site. And I said, Dog said he had some big news, but I don't think Craddock would let anyone else take credit. Right? So I was thinking maybe something was coming out. I didn't know. I'm just saying, because there was a lot going on at this time in December of 24 in Sebastian's case. And then he texts me back, it's Sebastian. I said, why do you think that? And he says, I don't think. Says ties to Terry B landfill. It's not broke yet. Meaning the news. And that they found Sebastian. This is this asshole, Richard from Rich and Ruby. I've concealed his last name because I'm trying not to be as big of an asshole as he is. This is Richard from Rich and Ruby. Poor Ruby. He says, 2 bodies in 20 hours, 2 different places. FBI found one. Don't say shit. I am not supposed to say shit. Now I got your attention. And I said, calling. So I called him and listened to him tell me about these gruesome details and how Sebastian is no longer with us. And then I told him that I can't have him on my channel anymore. This is the type of thing that's why I tell you guys, oh my gosh, even if it's like another creator and you think it's a collaboration and it's all good and you've heard him on on Dolly's show and Dolly says, subscribe to my friend Rich. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to keep my mouth shut about all of it too, until he wants to go off and claim that he has inside information. And I see it all over the place. It's on X. It's on this. My mods are texting me, hey, Lady Freedom, have you saw this? I'm like, oh my God. I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at his shit because I was so mad. You could ask Jen. I was so livid. I'm like, this guy's a liar. And I'm like raising my voice. And I'm like, this, everything but his name. F, mother F, all of it. All of it. I was so mad. I was so mad. Because here's the thing. I also have text messages and I don't have them in my phone because I have a whole bunch of crap in there for all of this other stuff that's way more important, right? But I'm going to do a live about it. I'm just going to do a live about it because no other parent or missing child's parent, whether they were kidnapped, any of that, any type of abduction, all of that, should never have to deal with somebody like this. I seriously thought that he was going to tell me that Sebastian's no longer with us and I was going to have to sit there and think about it because he was building up to it. I have every single one of your text messages. Don't fuck with me because I have every single one of your text messages, Rich. I don't think you want them out. I don't think you want the proof that I have further out. So if I was you, I would stop. And as a matter of fact, maybe don't talk about Sebastian if you're going to do that. If you're going to lie to people who care about Sebastian, who show up to watch your lives, who show up, I don't know if he goes live. I don't know if he still does just videos or what. Either way, how dare you? And what you did to Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins' family, you should be ashamed of yourself what you did to the father there. And I did explain that part on Jen, so definitely go over and watch Jen's, guys. We broke it down. She was gracious enough to have me on the panel, because Jen and I are friends. We talk and stuff like that. The minute that I saw creators that I respect sharing his crap out, I'm like, oh, no. Please don't. And so I was like, I said, yeah, we need to make sure that everybody knows, right? Like Seth knows, right? Because if I have to, I will report you over and over and over and over again. I will make it my life's mission to take you down. That's what I kept thinking to myself when I thought of him hurting Seth or telling Seth he had information or telling Seth that he's got information that Sebastian's dead. It's sick. It's sick. That's the last thing that Seth ever needs. And again, you're talking to someone who all they want is their son back. So they might listen to someone like that. Like if I didn't know better, I might. I did for a minute. And I'm like, all of this stuff is weird. You're not a Navy SEAL. You're not this. You're not that. You're not this. You don't go searching for people in the woods all the time. And Ruby gets all these awards. He never showed me one of her awards. Oh, and then he also tried to tell me that he bought me a GoPro and what's my address. Because he'll send it to me. He did the same thing for these Toys for Tots bracelets that he sent. He's like, see, I got 2 of them. I'll send you one in the mail. I'm like, you're not getting my address, dude. Like, that's when I started being like, going away from him, you know? And then he started this shit with me. Oh, Sebastian's found. Oh, yeah, it's the Bauer socks. It's this. What? Like, I'm really going to get up and say that. So if that's what his goal was, it's not going to happen, you know? Thanks, guys. And, you know, I hate to say it because it's like even, and that's the reason why I didn't want to do it again too, is because I didn't want people to just think like, whoa, you know, this person, you know, she's having trouble with this guy, and he, you know, he was only on her panel a couple of times, you know. Also, I think that people, once they like someone, it's very hard for them to believe otherwise, and I know that's hard. Trust me, I've really promoted and helped a lot of people that I shouldn't have, you know. Yeah, I don't, you know, I haven't watched him in forever, C. Taylor. And then all of a sudden I have people sharing it to me or sending me clips and stuff. And I'm like, they're like, you really got to look at this. This is really important. And I'm like, oh no, he's getting to like all these people are believing him and they're following him. And now I'm like, oh my God, is it because of me promoting him in the beginning and me not saying anything? And then people see him in the beginning days. I don't know if people even watch those lives. They were really bad in terms of me being, you know, all of it, because I didn't know. I'm still learning. I'm just going to get better at it, but it's, you know, it takes practice. Yeah. So that's another reason why I had to say something, because I honestly thought that I was just going to let him do his thing and people aren't going to believe him. They're going to understand. If it only took me like 20 days to realize it, then most people might even realize it in like 2 or 3, or they might watch one of his lives and be like, this guy's weird. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He talks a lot of smack. He never shows anybody anything. Looks like he's shitting his dog and the dog isn't really doing anything. No offense, Ruby. Sorry. You're not, you know, involved in this. I apologize, you know. But he's out there telling, you know, families of missing that he's going to go help look. Oh, me and Ruby will do it. No, you won't. You're not certified to do it. You're certifiable, in my opinion, but she ain't certified to do anything like that. Hey, Rogue, good to see you. Joe says, who are we slamming? It's from Rich and Ruby. Joe, that's hilarious. Yeah, he's always okay. Scranton says he's always saying that he's boots on the ground. He said he went to the floods in South Texas. Yes, he said he searched for Sebastian. On my show, he said he searched for Sebastian. And he said people were like hooting and hollering at him. He said he goes to Tennessee a lot, but he's in West Texas. I wonder if any of that is real. He said, like, on my very last live that I had him up, he's like, oh yeah, my horse is having a baby. And I'm like, that's not what people who have horses say. Like, I don't know what, and Little Miss Sharon helped me out earlier. I saw it pop up on Jen's panel because I couldn't see the chat. But I could see when she'd pop it up there. And I'm like, but yeah, he even said it wrong. He doesn't live in the country to where he could have horses at all. So I don't know what he's talking about. But that was another huge red flag. And I'm like, here he is lying to me, lying to all my people. I'm like, this is ridiculous. C. Taylor says he supposedly searched in the area for Sebastian a while back. Yeah, OMG. Well, he said that. When was it? I think because he was on my show in December. But I don't think he went in December. I think he said he went in the springtime or something like that, like earlier on. Or maybe it was earlier in the fall, a couple weeks before that. But of course, like, he's like, oh, I went down and searched for Sebastian with Ruby. And I was like, oh, that's great. You know, like, you know, at first I believed him with some of the things he was saying. But then when he's like, well, I'm a Navy SEAL and I can't show my face and I can't do this. And, you know, I mean, we have Google at our fingertips. So if I look up, like, are YouTubers allowed to have, and now we know too, because like Jennifer Coffindoffer, she has her own thing. She's a retired FBI agent. You don't see her talking about how somebody sent her some classified information that she's going to share, And another thing too, with this guy is that, if you receive classified information, you're not to share it. You're to notify the source and let them know that you received correspondence that you weren't supposed to receive. Plain out. That's it. Yeah. Okay, so Holly S says, remember he said someone put a threatening note on his backpack. I'm sorry. I mean, what? At school, Rich? Are you still, in school? I know you're acting very immature by doing this in a missing child's case. Oh, your daughter had surgery last week. Andrea says it's confirmed cancer. Oh, it will be okay. They got it. And she just has to be monitored. Oh, good. Oh, gosh. I hate cancer so much. Christine on here. I didn't know who she was. Miss Christine, I think it's 55555. 55s. She just passed away from cancer, and she was battling for a long time. I think it was breast cancer, if I'm not mistaken. I'm so glad they got all of it, Andrea. Gosh, cancer is just the most nasty thing. Good thing Joe says never heard of him. It's good thing. It's a good thing. But people were sharing him, and then on Twitter, and I'm like, if I just didn't want Seth to get sucked into that, right, and think that he had this information that he doesn't have, because really all he's trying to do is get more clicks and views. There are con artists, Rogue, who live off of their schemes and take advantage of victims and their families. Yeah, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, because you think that you're getting help, and so you have more hope, right? But then your hope is dashed because Rich didn't have any of the things that he said he was going to, And in that family, Rogue, too, that he did that to, that I know of for sure he did that too, because I have the texts from the dad. The mom and the dad divorced. They had a really happy marriage. Everything was good before they lost their daughter, Elizabeth, and her cousin, Lyric Cook, right? It's just so wrong. Yes, Joe says CP told us Sebastian won't be found. Well, and then there's all these fishy-ass characters around Sebastian's case, and it's like, you've got to be kidding me right now. It's like they're making it seem like Joe's so hilarious. They're making it, seem like they don't want him to be, right? Like they're making it a circus. They've done that from the beginning. Thank you, a foul. Thank you, Wilma Sharon. Yeah, and he would have said that, right? He would have said, this is the, instead of a baby horse, like he would have called it correct, right? Especially if I'm guessing it's not his first rodeo with the horse having a baby. I don't know. I was just like, no. Thanks, Miss Anne. I just don't want you guys to be lied to. I was devastating. I was devastated thinking that I would have to get up here and tell you guys this horrible news that I already knew, right? It's a horrible burden. I tried to even say that to him, and he just didn't even care, because he knew he was bullshitting me the whole time. He's like, whatever, I was just using you to get up on your panel for a while, or whatever his deal was. Scranton says he said he flies private because Ruby, and I'm like, where does this guy do? Where does this guy do this to be able to do all this? That's what I mean. It was like so outlandish. Like, okay, I could see, people in the field office. Okay, that's one thing. But then you're a Navy SEAL. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, and then you've rescued all these people, and you work all these cold cases. Like, people have specialties, guys. Like, there's not a, you're a jack of all trades and a master of none, right? If you're doing all of these things like this, nobody's superhuman. Oh, and then I'm a dog trainer too, and look at my dog. My dog will find Sebastian. Whatever. Go juggle somewhere else, clown. Like, for real. Scranton, that's the best though. That's the best. That's the best one that I've heard so far. He didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me that. He said that his friend was in the plane crash that happened back around that time frame, and he said he had to rush to the hospital, and that's why he couldn't go on my live with me that night. I can't come up to on your live tonight, my friend. And I don't know, like, what the. It's just some people lie just to lie. I mean, if I thought he was trying to just impress me, I would have rolled off my back. But I kind of feel like he was trying to either terrify me or get me to, like, believe his shit and me come up here and make a fool of myself and a fool out of everybody else listening to me that day if I did. I don't like doing that, guys. I don't like the Proud Fee. I don't like the Bower Sox. I think they have guilty knowledge. I'm never going to come up here and say that, though. Like, just like, oh, they definitely did this. Like, no way. No, because I don't know. That's not right. We don't do it like that in America. It's always, you got to be proven guilty, right? And you got to be assumed that you're innocent up until the time that you're proven guilty, so you got to kind of uphold that a little bit. I mean, public opinion, we can be more relaxed, but I mean, that's how it works in court. The court of public opinion is a little bit different, but that's okay because that's the pressure that's applied. Like in Jayden's case, I think that everybody, busting on her for being up at the McDonald's, people that were busting on her for not searching, people who were, side-eyeing her story, even the aunts were doing that. He doesn't like bugs. He doesn't like to go into the, forest at night. He's scared of the dark. Things like that, I know he makes it seem like he's local to the area, Holly S. I do, because a lot of people think that he is in Tennessee, like he's from Tennessee or in Tennessee. Yeah, like, maybe like a transplant, like maybe he wasn't, but no, he's in Texas. Because I had to go on and look these people up. I had no choice because I was like, who is this guy? Like, why is he doing this? And is he really who he says he is? Because law enforcement doesn't do things like that. Yeah, he acts like he's close with LE. Yeah, he says I have a friend in the FBI field office, which, I mean, people that work in the FBI field office have friends. You might have somebody who doesn't follow the rules. People don't follow the rules all the time. And, he's like, don't say shit, and he's like, oh, top secret. And I'm like, okay. I think you guys know me by now. I'm just kind of like mellow and I just kind of like wait. And I'm like, okay. That's why Jules had me cracking up on her phone call with Chris Proudfoot, because the way she was going, oh yeah, oh, okay. I was like that with him a lot of the time. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're, Taekwondo and Tai Chi, and you also, what is that, Krav Maga, and you're also a UFC fighter, and you're also, you just jumped out of a plane yesterday. Okay, perfect. I just like listening. Okay, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna do a show tonight about, ask you some questions about about Ruby, excuse me. We're gonna talk about this case. He was pretty involved in a couple of the cases, saying that he had correspondence with the aunt of Hannah Kobayashi. It's on my lives. I don't delete my lives. Look, I'm proud of where I came from. Okay, my first lives, I dropped the camera. Or my phone. I was having trouble with my mic. All kinds of stuff. I had the angle, was up because I didn't want it to be right in my face, but I realized that people want to be right in my face. So I'm like, here you go. You know what I mean? I'm happy from where I came from, but I also don't want to be promoting a bunch of ass hats, which, Grace's Gavel is another one. Ass hat. Shouldn't have never promoted her. That woman's got real issues that she hides very, very well. It's just scary as hell to me. Yeah. Yeah, a Navy SEAL sounds like he's from Nigeria. Well, and that's the thing too. He has very weird tendencies that I noticed when I was watching his videos back and stuff like that. And again, he was saying a lot of weird stuff when it came to other cases. Like he said that he went and searched for Jay Slater too. Jay Slater's from the UK. So that, I mean, it's just so outlandish, right? Like, so you're telling me that you went go look for Sebastian, went and looked for Jay Slater, went back. You're coming to Florida. He told me that too, that he was coming to Florida for the Maddie Soto Memorial or some stuff. I'm like, good for you. That's cool. And I told him I don't plan on traveling around. I mean, I might. If another YouTuber, said, "Hey, do you want to go on location with me?" I'd split gas and go, sure. But it's not something that I'm very much into. And again, I don't need a GoPro because I'm right here. I'm not going to wear a GoPro while I'm talking to you guys. So I don't need one, you know? Sorry, I was reading Joe and Andrea. You guys are making me laugh. I know cancer sucks. It does, Andrea. I'm so sorry. And that's the thing too. We have so much more like serious issues than this crap. Just crap all around. People actually do have situations like that, and we've had people fake that too on here. I've heard. Like, who does that? I'm in Florida, Joe. I'm in Florida. Hey, Lil Redo. Lil Redo knows about Rich. Well, I think she does. She should. Where did he come from? Uh, has he done anything before Sebastian? No, he was on Dolly. He would call into Dolly's show and he would tell people like, oh yeah, I just brought a whole bunch of things down to the women's shelter. And, he would comment on the cases and he seemed pretty put together, until the mask falls, I guess. But that's where he came from. Thank you, Lori. The beginning days were, when I go back and watch them, I'm like, oh gosh, what was I thinking back then? He crawled up from the ground. And I don't think he has any type of like, I don't think he has any type of training for Ruby at all. I think she's just a regular dog. He's just letting her go to the bathroom outside, Oh, cool, Joe. That's cool. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not as familiar with Florida because I just moved. I had just moved here too. So, I mean, but the weird part is the same day that I started talking to Rich about doing the lives was the same day that Hey Jude and I connected, and her and I hit it off, and she's been helping me with the channel ever since. Well, she's been supporting the channel for a very, very long time before I went live. But like as soon as I was going live, Jude was right here to support the channel, and like I'm so grateful for her. So I don't know if it was the universe playing a sick trick on me, like, hey, we're gonna give you like the best person ever, but you're also gonna get this shithead and you're gonna have to kick him off your live at a certain point and be embarrassed that you ever had him up here, type of a thing. Which is, I'm fine with it because I got Jude. But and honestly, her and I talked about it, and she's like, all publicity is good publicity, right? So like if you mention his channel and then people go over there and then he's going to get a rise in subscribers, and then it's a game, right? Like it's something that it's something to consider, which I was like, well, I don't want to do that. Let's just let it ride. I don't think a lot of people will believe what he's saying, but like here lately I think people are so wanting to find Sebastian. Like we just want to find him. We're at our wits' end, right? Desperate times, desperate measures. So I don't fault anybody for that. I just didn't want another person to try to scam on Seth, because there's been a lot of people that have done that. They just, I mean, I don't even want to count how many. And it shouldn't be like that. I mean, you're not going to be able to mesh up well with everybody or trust everybody. But you would think that people wouldn't come out of the woodwork just to insert themselves in what's going on. You know, you would think they just want to share the flyer, spread awareness, tell the story. Some people are really good at interviewing other people, though. Some people would say, you know, I'd like to have you up on the panel. You know, and I have had people up, and I enjoy the people I've had up. I just, you know, there's been a couple of bad eggs, but Scranton, you're too funny. Hey Jude is the best. C. Taylor. Yes, she really is. And she's given me the best advice too. And sometimes she has to talk me off the ledge. She's like, I know that you're upset and you probably do want to blow the top off of this crap, but you know, and I'm like, yes, thank you. Because, you know, I really don't. This is not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the cases. Sorry, I took a drink of my vitamin water stuff. But yeah, she is the best. She really is the friendliest, the sweetest. And you know, speaking of that, let me switch this over really quick. I appreciate you guys listening to the gripe. Like I said, we went over it a little bit more over in at Jen's, and I appreciate her. I appreciate her making sure we keep, you know, I mean, because I just feel like people have always ruined the integrity of Sebastian's case, and I just don't think that that's fair. I'm gonna put this one up for Sebastian. I like this one. So this is pretty cool, I think, and you guys let me know what you think. And you know, as long as we're respectful and stuff, it's okay to say how you feel, because I don't know what to think of this, but I think it's worth sharing. And this is something that was put out by At Night. So At Night is conducting a major surveillance sweep aimed at identifying and making direct contact with every individual observed in the vicinity of Sebastian on the night of February 25th, 2024. So in my opinion, that means the Texas Roadhouse. And I'm like, what? Finally, right? Because I was even looking over some old you know, screenshots and stuff like that I had taken. And, you know, I'm really, really glad that they've decided to do this, because, you know, I did send over what I found on the phone, right? I didn't actually found it. Somebody sent it to me, and I went ahead and slowed it down and, you know, redid it from the same video to make sure that I was getting a good picture, you know, that wasn't like photoshopped or anything. But either way, I'd send it to TBI, At Night, Sumner County, everybody I could send it to. And then, you know, I didn't hear anything, but I also know Green Hoodie is another person of interest in my opinion. And then I also saw, when I was scrolling through the letter that they put out, the statement or press release about Green Hoodie and how they cleared her or him or whatever. Because we still don't know who that person is. And it says that they're going to make contact with every individual observed in the vicinity that night. So that's good. This operation leverages advanced imaging analytics, public and private camera archives, and coordinated outreach to witnesses. So I wonder if they're going to be looking at all of the footage that day, right? BJ's, the bowling alley, Texas Roadhouse. I hope, right? I hope they're able to reach out to people. I hope people will talk. Maybe some will say more than they ever have. I'm really praying for them to be compelled to do so, right? And then they're also going to probably take people's faces and try to find out who they are, right? Using the advanced imaging analytics. That's just my guess. And private camera archives, I'm guessing, is from that day. And then maybe, you know, images from the neighborhood, what have you. The goal is simple but urgent: to locate, interview, and document each person present in the crucial window. So I'm guessing that crucial window would be, you know, between the time that, you know, Sebastian was out in public and then the time that he was supposedly back at home, and then poof, right? There's a huge lapse in time, and everything is according to Katie. And so hopefully they can get to the bottom of what's going on here and, reach out to witnesses and all of that. So they said they're going to do that, and they're going to be reconstructing every movement and interaction that may hold the key to bringing Sebastian home. And again, I can only speculate that means, leave no stone left unturned during that day. All of the surveillance, everybody involved, anybody that made contact with Sebastian. So that's fantastic news, and I am praying for a successful outcome. Now it says, where do we need your eyes? So they're asking for the public's help. At Night has expanded active intelligence gathering to 3 regions. So they're looking at these 3 areas. So Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia, Springdale, Arkansas. Okay, and we talked about Arkansas a little bit. Myrtle Beach, right? South Carolina. So that's really interesting. And I know that it was said that Chris and Katie went on vacation to Myrtle Beach. Also, don't know about Springdale, Arkansas yet. Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. Chesapeake, Virginia, I believe that might be, in and around the area where Katie's from. I'm not sure though. And again, I might need your help in the chat. But it says, we're not saying that Sebastian was or is in these places. We are assembling a complex puzzle from tips, data received since September 4th, 2024. Local memories, photos, and fragments of routine can reveal the thread that ties this case together. Pull that thread and the picture emerges, right? So I agree. It just takes one thing. It just takes us to find that one little thread and pull it. And there you go. Everything starts unraveling. Their shit, their story, the lies. In my opinion, they have lied their asses off here. And they've done exactly the same steps that Felicia tried to do as well. Conceal, and they go to great lengths to conceal and cover up what they've done, because they know that if anybody found out what they've done, they're never seeing another McDonald's cheeseburger again. So it says what to check. It matters more what you think. It matters more than you think. So, 1, the doorbell and security camera archives from February 2024 to present, right? That's a lot. Dash cams, rideshare trip logs, hotel receipts, parking records, old phone galleries. Look for unfamiliar faces in the background, right? Which is very smart. Social posts, marketplace messages, and direct messages that felt off at the time. If something nudges your gut, say it. One detail can break a stalemate, right? And we all know what checkmate means. That means you won. That means we cracked it wide open. And I'm really hoping for that, guys. And again, I don't believe everything that comes out of At Night. I don't agree with everything, but I will say when they say they're going to do something like this, I think they will. They've pulled out a lot of information, in my opinion. And I hope that they do figure this out, And I'm just going to go up and chat just a little bit. Good night, Kathy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm not a fan of At Night. Sorry, they do nothing to have and the technology that they do. Well, and I know, I think they do have, maybe, but I mean, I would hope they'd have better technology than me, Little Red, but who knows? I mean, the facial recognition stuff could be interesting. I know you can actually put an image in and Google search it to find out, I mean, I would like to pinpoint and know. I just want to know who the Yellow Jacket guy is. You guys know that. I'm really hoping. Also, Green Hoodie, Andrea says, yes, Joe. And even when we get a ticket, we think Ellie. Yeah. Well, I mean, because they're doing their job. You know, it's not something they like to do unless they're like, you know, a jerk or something. But I mean, like, you know, it's not like they're. I mean, they're just doing what they have to do. Robini says cameras from the friend's neighborhood where she stopped to that day. That's very true, Robini. We need that, right? That whole day needs to be remapped out. And there's no reason why Katie wouldn't help out with that, right? Because look, she wants to find her son, right? You know, but I absolutely agree. Robini says cameras from the friend's neighbor where she dropped or where she stopped off that day. And so, you know, her and Sebastian allegedly went to the friend's house to pick up the niece and bring her over to BJ's. And I think that those cameras are so very important. Yeah, that's an excellent point, Robini. Well, they're there to help. Yeah, they are. They are. They're right there to help. And, you know, it's just a shame that they haven't found Sebastian yet. Praying all of these missing kids are found regardless of the situation. I agree, Andrea. You know, no matter what, we need to find him. No matter what. And I think we are going to find Sebastian. I do. I think we're going to find him. I think if we all get together, we're unstoppable. Compare notes, pull up the screenshots. Even if people saw them already, let's get it. You know, let's get it organized. Let's do a series. I'm gonna be working on that too. You mean if someone has one that I could go to and pay for something they want? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, town chat. Aw, thank you, Lori. You know, but I do think that they have the technology that they could do this if they put it, you know, to work. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they're local to Pictou County, Joe. My AC went out today, lady. I'm so hot. Oh no, Robini. I could tell like the minute that mine is too low, you know? Um, I could tell the minute that mine is too low. Hey, Cece, good to see you. Sorry, guys, I got a little bit behind in chat there. Oh, it's 20 degrees hotter in the house. And oh no, the repairman's coming tomorrow. Oh, good, Robini. Oh my goodness, girl. It's too hot without AC because even the fans, it'll just like circulate the hot air around. I know what you mean. Hopefully, there's a breeze outside. And see, it's been, well, we had thunderstorms today and then it started raining again. We had thunderstorms tonight. So that cools things down so much, you know, because otherwise it's like stifling heat. And they only put one vent back in the back, and like there's three skylights back there, and I'm like, you know, it's so hot. But so I know the feeling. I can't imagine if the air went out. I had that happen last summer. It was a nightmare. That's how I got the little air conditioner that we're using in the front because it just keeps everything cooler. Um, then we could close the vent and push it back there. I didn't realize that when I was complaining about how hot it was. Um, yeah, that is a bummer, huh, Lori? Oh, they found Yellow Jacket? They did, Joe Neal? She's local to Pictou. Normally, each province has an RCMP spokesperson, but it sounds like Nova Scotia has areas, and she's a spokesperson for the area. Oh, did somebody come out and talk in Jack and Lily's case? Sebastian's case and Jack and Lily's case, Summer just blow my mind. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities too, Andrea. There's so many similarities in the cases, especially like when we're just expected to believe they just poof. I don't know what happened to them. You know, two kids at once, even this time, and it's like, oh, somebody done messed up there. You know, because that's really unbelievable. You know, it just really is. Um, So if Felicia is charged, don't change how long they will give her, in your opinion. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it works in the Commonwealth. Like, is the judge allowed? Because, like, in Colorado, was it Colorado? In Colorado, it was Shonda, I always say it wrong, Shonda Vander Ark and her son systematically starved and tortured Timothy, um, the youngest brother, right? And it was Paul and Shonda that got in trouble for it because, you know, they were the adults in the household. Like, he worked at TGI Fridays, he could have gotten him food, but he wasn't. He was doing everything, you know, Shonda said to do. And her appeal just got denied, by the way. Haha. But even though Paul, you know, flipped on his mother and, you know, blamed everything on her and tried to escape responsibility, they did offer him a plea deal, but the judge overturned that, or trumped it, right? And he was like, no, you know, poor little Timothy. And guys, you know, no disrespect, and a trigger warning, but as bad as he was starved, he looked like he had been through the Holocaust, guys. I mean, that's how, and that's what the judge said, you know, unacceptable, and you're going to prison. And I mean, you know, there's prison calls of, you know, these two asshats, and, you know, you got Paul talking to some girl. I mean, you know, it's just always outlandish, and there's always somebody that's going to write these cretins in jail and, you know, try to hook up with them or marry them or whatever. Yeah, manslaughter. Yeah, thank you. Manslaughter is 5 to 10 years in prison only. Yeah, but I mean, she also has the well, she's got 4 charges total. So, um, oh, and I erased that to show you the crap about Rich, and that's why I hate that, because I'm like, you guys are not important. It's these people, these kids. Um, Yeah, he lied. Yeah, yeah. Robbie says, I remember that case. He lied to, for her, and then when the police came too. Yeah, he was really like, I mean, he would do anything for his mom, right? Like, he was totally into it, in my opinion. I think that, you know, he only felt bad because he got caught, you know, and there was a lot of things in his prison calls that were like, oh, the judge made such a good call, you know. He really did. I'm so glad. And I was praying that he was going to do that. Um, so I don't know if they can do that in Kentucky. Thanks, McAfee. Yeah, I don't know can the judge say she gets more because of aggravating factors? Little Miss Sharon says Sebastian and Jayden are both underweight, both disappear at night, both before school, both had abusive, aggressive stepfathers and mothers, and then didn't want them. And I know, I agree, Little Miss Sharon, all that. And I bet Jayden didn't have shoes on. I doubt it too. You know, and they never did mention anything about that. But then they found like the one black croc, and then they found the little hiking boots. But I don't think those were big enough for him. I think those were his old clothes that they found, Sheila and Fred. I agree with you, Little Miss Sharon. All of that, all of it. It's just like check, 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 check. Okay, it's like, well, yeah, but they're not, you know, they're, you know, one is 15, the other one's 10. Okay, well, big deal, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, but there's a lot more similarities, right? And oddly, like, even with little Summer, and she was a little, you know, teeny tiny 6-year-old beautiful little girl, you know. I don't know what the sentence for those charges are, because she lied to authorities, right? Um, I think she should be charged with lying to the authorities, but I think, McAfee, that after the tox comes back and the autopsy results are out, we're gonna see more charges, in my opinion. Oh, thank you so much, McAfee. I really appreciate that. Oh, thanks, Brandon. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you because I mean I don't know. It's a little bit different, right, state to state, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but because we do vote for people and on the state level and stuff like that. So yeah, Lori, isn't it? It's awful. It really is. And like I said, you know, I'd never been to Kentucky before, but driving through, I mean, it's just like any other area, right? Like you have forested areas. It's very Midwest in my opinion from what I don't think I was in the Appalachia, area like the hills and stuff because we just drove through. But really pretty. It's the fall time and in the Midwest it's very pretty. Same thing with Tennessee. Same exact thing. I was really happy to be driving through at that time. All the leaves were turning colors, and I was like, "Oh, this is the last time I'll see this season," which I love fall. So, Robini says, "How could you break your son's legs to force him into a tote?" Is that why she did it? Is that how that happened, Robini? I know it's just disgusting. I know. It's unthinkable. Like even if you thought that might be an option, like I don't see how you could carry it out. I don't. Like I get people panicking, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do or whatever, but like really you have to really do all of that like in succession, right? You have to like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then you start doing it, and it's like this is way too horrific. But I guess I don't know. I don't think we're dealing with people who have I just don't think we're dealing with people who have a heart. I really don't. I think these people are evil. And I never used to think people were just evil, but then you see it more and more and you're like, oh yeah, and they don't care. And you hear like I said with the one Paul, you know, you hear him and he's just like, oh, who can give me some money for my commissary? And I wanted to, rent a video game on the tablet. And it's like, you should be sitting there thinking about what you've done, you know? That's where my mom, mode comes in. And I'm like, at least you spend at least 1 month thinking about what you did before you get your privileges. But, I mean, they just give these people this anyway. They don't even make it hard on them, And I think that's why people reoffend. I think they need to make it harder on them, you know? Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Brandon says, that's not, or that hasn't come out yet. And we don't know how she put him in the tote. Oh, Jesus. What do you want me to check for in Kentucky? Well, the one charge, hold on, let me pull it up because I took it out. But the one charge, oh gosh, I just keep seeing Miley Cyrus in my phone. She's going to give me nightmares. My daughter used to love Miley Cyrus, and so it's so difficult seeing her do that. To me, I'm like, oh no, Miley, be a good girl. Okay, so, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I've talked a lot today. So the first one is false report of an accident to law enforcement. So false report of an incident. False report of an incident. And then I'll write these other two down. Tampering with physical evidence. And then abuse of a corpse. Oh, jeez Louise. Sorry, guys. And then abuse of a corpse. Poor little Jayden. I just feel so sorry for him. Oh, Lord. What are we going to do with these people? The autopsy will be interesting, Andrea. It'll tell us everything we need to know, in my opinion. I think that, besides really what he went through, but like from an evidence standpoint, they're going to be able to tell a whole heck of a lot. A whole heck of a lot. Oh, it was on a new newscast, Rob Beanie says. Scranton, did you hear that a man came forward and said he heard a kid screaming the day before? Yes. He was reported missing. Yeah, Scranton, I did hear that. I did hear that. And we were speculating because we don't know, like, if the kids were still in the car or if somebody had, like, or if they left them back at the trailer. But I heard that was on Court TV. Court TV, I heard that. Because the senator went and searched, you know. Justin played it earlier. Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch Justin's live for sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate you. No, Scranton, someone mentioned it in the chat, but I didn't see it. Yeah, I mean, it's just horrible. Okay, so that's just a misdemeanor. Oh, damn. And you know what stinks is sometimes, I don't know how it works, but I know I've heard sometimes in some places that, like, the lesser charges might be dropped. I hate saying it. I hate saying that. Not at all. Didn't want to say that. I sure hope not. Miley's Asian now. Oh no, Joe. That's too funny. Is she's identifying that way, or is that what's going on over here? Oh no. No, my daughter was like huge Hannah Montana fan, right? She had all like curtains, bed, everything. Everything was Hannah Montana. Hey Dorothy Heard, nice to see you. Yeah, all these babies, to me are so sad. It is so sad, Dorothy. It is. And you know, so I don't know what we can do. CPS seems to always be like the common denominator, right? Like CPS. We got to do something there, you know. And it's not just one area, you know, that we're seeing this stuff go on. They do that in Canada too. Andrea says drop the lesser charges. Yeah. And I mean, I kind of understand that, but I just think this crime is so heinous, you know? And then also letting, you know, what about all the resources? Like, don't they want restitution? I mean, I guess they probably figure she doesn't have the money for that, but I mean, his family has money. CPS is overstretched, Deborah. You're right. They are. And I think they need to be paid more. I mean, I know that's, you know, come out of the tax dollars too, but I think they need to be paid more. And I think that the ratio needs to be like, you know, hey, you know, if this poor person has 5 billion cases, but I mean, kids come through all the time. Don B wrote a post and he said maybe we need to have like facilities for kids where they could come there and be safe for the time being. Like, instead of a foster home, it's kind of like a group oriented thing. And I saw his post and I was thinking about it before I commented, right? Sometimes I'll do that. I'll like the post so I don't forget to like it, and then I'll think about it a little bit, especially something like that, because I thought, you know, that could be a solution. But then I started thinking, you know, but then they would have to have, you know, good people that they could trust, you know, because these kids are already traumatized. And then I'm like, I don't know. But it's not, you know, any idea to help is a good idea, in my opinion. We got to do something. We have to do something. But I haven't commented back on his yet. Okay, there's a felony involved. I just saw felony abuse of a corpse in Kentucky is a Class D felony. Oh, interesting. Class D. I would have liked to have seen something like, oh gosh, like in Travis Decker's case, when you're in a position of trust. Because I always think that's the worst thing ever. Like, that's the worst betrayal, when you trust somebody and then, you know, they stomp on you, you know. But for a kid, trusting an adult, God, that's like, I don't know, worse in my opinion. Town Chat says they sure do. I can't even stand taking the RX meds. But yeah, I think it was probably a side effect of something. Oh, okay, Town Chat. Oh, are you okay now? This crime is horrendous. Justice to be full extent of the law, in my opinion. Yeah, a lot of people were thinking that and saying that too. They really were. People were not pleased with this charge because they know, people were Googling it like Brandon and trying to figure out, okay, how long would she get? 5 to 10 years is nothing for what she's done. And who wants her out in society when she could do that to her own child? That's what gets me, because who's to say that, she isn't going to be around kids? I mean, they don't even have that or anywhere that I've ever heard of that it's like, oh, you could never be around kids anymore unless you're, a chomo, which, I mean, obviously that's a good thing, but I would rather pay CPS than Eric Craddock. I would too. Scranton, that's a good point. I would too. I'd be like, yes, here you go. They get raises, you do not, Scranton, that's funny. I agree totally. That's 3 of them. What's the other charge? Oh, I'm sorry. It is going to be the tampering with physical evidence. So I don't know what exactly she did to get that charge other than maybe concealing some physical evidence. Tampering with physical evidence. So she messed up the integrity of it. Oh, cool. Joe says Wikipedia has state crime listings. Cool. I've never seen that before on Wikipedia. I'll have to take a look. I feel like coming out of anesthesia, oh no, Town Chat. Did you get like a snack or something that way if it is your sugar? Oh, Manjaro. Oh, I see. Yeah. It's so hard to write. I'll tell you, I have diabetes on my dad's side of the family, like both sides, on his dad and mom's side both. And man, that is one of the hardest things I think to regulate daily, because you really got to watch what you eat and, make sure that you eat. That's really tough because I'm really bad about that. If I get to drinking coffee and everything, I'm like, before I know it, I'm like, oh, I didn't eat anything today. And here I'm drinking another cup of coffee. Oh, levels and penalties. Oh, cool, Joe. That's awesome. He says like levels and penalties on Wikipedia. I'm going to have to check that out. That is really cool. Yeah, because I mean, as it's hard to remember all of them, but it'd be neat to just know, and then you can kind of, refer to that. Andrea says manslaughter, tampering with evidence, false report, and abuse of the corpse. Brandon, thank you, Andrea. I had to go back and look at them and write them down again because I took that one out. It's a Class D felony and 1 to 5 years in prison. Okay, so that's another. See, and that's just such a small. Because if the max is 5, I mean, I would give her the max. I mean, if she got the max on all of it, say 10, 5. And here's the thing, too, oh no, Town Chat. And if she gets out on good behavior and stuff, oh man. Oh, I think because she coached the 2 of the children. Oh, that's right, is tampering. Thank you. Thanks, Andrea. I'm getting tired over here. I was like, what? I'm like, what would that be? Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you so much. That's right. Yeah, because tampering with the witness, it'd be physical evidence. I can't believe those kids. Ugh, I feel so sorry for the little ones. I really do. I can't help but feel bad for them. Um, Especially if they're in the same house as their dad still now. I mean, oh, is that why you weren't on during the afternoon show? Oh, okay, town chat. Well, girl, I would have texted you. I didn't know. I've been running around like a chicken lately, getting used to the day shows too. Oh, I think because she coached. Yes. Lori says, I heard that too, Andrea. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Aw, thanks, Andrea. Tampering with physical evidence involves intentionally destroying, concealing, removing, altering, fabricating evidence. Okay, there it is. Fabricating. That's it, I think, Brandon. Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir. Because, I mean, oh, those poor little kids. I can't imagine how scared they had to be. Because they got to be at least, they have to be, I was thinking, I said 10 and under, but then I'm like, no, that's not right, because 9 months and then Jayden's born, and then, she would have to, so they'd have to be 10 months at least, or a year apart, right? So 9 years old and younger are the kids that she has now, and maybe they're even younger than that. They all looked little in the video where they were talking about JD Vance and how he grew up in the area, and that sort of thing. Aw, town chat. Will you make sure if it gets too bad, go to the ER, or I don't know if they have urgent care open this late. But yeah, and let me know. Yeah, exactly, Andrea. As long as it makes you feel better, huh? Rock away. Aw. Yeah, I still need to make a video for Jonathan Honig next, like I did with Sebastian. Yes, and I wrote that down, town chat. I'm so glad you said that, because I didn't have a chance to go over. I ended up watching Josh for a little bit last night, and he was talking about Christine, Miss Christine, and then I went over and I watched something on Summer Wells, because it was like a little mini documentary. It was like a 30-minute one. It was really good though. It was a short mini one. Had a lot of the videos, like when Summer was out swimming in the dirty pond, and she was like really, really dirty, poor baby. Yes, absolutely. Andrea says thanks, Brandon, for looking that up. Absolutely, Brandon. And it's good to know what all to expect, because that first charge is not nowhere near as much as we would think. Misdemeanors, you don't typically get too much jail time for. And again, I don't know, they might just drop those lesser charges. Or they might say, oh, there's mitigating factors, something like that. Oh, thank you, Town Chat. Anybody's welcome to share the video. Yes, and Town Chat made it beautiful, and I have it on my Facebook page, actually. On the background, it fits perfectly up top there for Sebastian. Yep, and it's green with green hearts and stuff. It's really, really pretty. Really well done. And pretty soon I could just go over there and grab it and show it to you guys, because I'm going to be getting that laptop really soon. I'm really excited. It's tax-free weekend. I call it tax-free weekend because in Missouri it is just a weekend, but here it's all month, so it's perfect time for me to go. And I think I picked one out at Walmart that was reasonable, mid grade. And then Mom said she was going to send me an option that was at Best Buy on sale too. Okay, so Brandon says, so if nothing changes, her charges will be in her 50s when she gets out of jail. See, that is just, gosh. see, because I'm going to be 43 in December, and I'm hoping that I live at least until 80, so she could have 30 years left, to wreak havoc. She doesn't seem like a very nice gal. And, nobody has come out and commented on her. Not that I expect for her family to do that at all, but I'm surprised that they haven't said anything, about the grief that she put the grandmother under, because apparently she had to take the grandma for child support, and you'd think she would, go ahead and do that. Yeah, she's only 33. Yeah, Brandon, she's only 33. Yeah. Yeah. She's young, and she's wasted a lot of time in jail. She needs to stay in jail, Lori. I agree. I hope people can push for justice for Jayden. I really do. We'll have to figure out a way to maybe push for something. So 20 people have gotten 20 years for robbery, though. I agree, Robini. Or like Justin was cracking me up the other day because he said people have gotten more for having Mary Jane on them or whatever, and I'm like, oh, no kidding. Now it's legal in most places. It's like, can you believe it? Yes. Thank you, Town Chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, go check this out, guys. Town Chat, the link that Town Chat put down. Well, guys, I better hop off of here because I need to at least get some tea. I know my voice has been cracking and stuff like that. And we're just going to keep going tomorrow. I will see you guys in the afternoon. We might not do a whole really long live, but I want to definitely come up and talk with you guys and show you a couple of clips. And let's just pray that, maybe this facial recognition stuff is going to be good for Sebastian's case. That's all I can, hope for, Yes, Miss Lori, I do too in certain ways. I really do, because I get, what is it? What is the quote? It says, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth leaves the whole world blind and toothless. It's like, that is a smart quote. But in the same way, it's like, in this case, and even with Paul and Sandra, I was like, I can't believe they're talking about ramen noodles. Like, you guys just deserve hot sauce and bread, like you did to, poor little, to the poor little boy. Gosh, now I forget his name. I'm so sorry. Timothy was his name, and that's what they were doing. They Googled the hottest hot sauce imaginable, and then they were feeding it to him on bread, and that's it. They deserve to have that in jail. And then also a mean roommate that, is hateful. Oh, Brandon, it's Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives at gmail.com, but no apostrophe, just, all the way out. Yeah, and thank you, Brandon, so much for doing that research behind the scenes. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I don't have a chance to get it all done, and then tonight I was like, oh gosh, we need to do this tonight. Didn't want to have to, but no, I really had a nice time on Jen's. I was thankful to be up there. And again, MMO Tarot is awesome. And we're going to do another collaboration. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be really nice to compare notes with people and bring in people with different specialties. Because again, guys, there's not one person that's going to come in here like Superman. I wish there was. I wish I could call, John Rambo right now and I could be like, I need your help. That's not going to happen, unfortunately. But, I wish I could call Liam Neeson. He's another, guy. I wish I could, but that's not going to happen. It's up to us. And it just takes one little thing, like they said. I agree with what was said by At Night in this instance. And I'm going to tell you guys, when I don't agree with what At Night says, it's not always that, I won't post it always if I don't see it, right? Because sometimes I don't see it. So I don't want that to be a rule of thumb. But I mean, if I don't agree with something that At Night puts out, I just won't share it, that's all. And that's okay. And I know that they're okay with me, on that. They're not going to come out for me or anything like that, or be mad or huffy puffy or never, come in and say hi. I really like Nick the Hat. I think, I think he's a nice guy that's just trying to figure it out. Yeah, they put it on his private juice. Oh, I know they did. They did that, Robini. They did. Yeah, yeah. They tortured this poor boy. You know, made him sit in the bathtub. I mean, they did all kinds of stuff, and they're asking for mercy. She just tried to appeal to, like, all these people appealing. I'm like, oh, stop. You know, but that's the right. You know, that's the right to do that. Thank you, Brandon. Yes, you guys have a good night, and then I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Town chat. Let me know. You know, shoot me a text, girl. I'll be praying that everything works out. And you know, if you feel really weird, you know, make sure you get to the hospital just to get checked out. I know the ER stinks at this hour. So, all right, guys. Thank you all so much. I will see you next time.